Yes. Hi, friends. Good morning, and welcome to a very interesting conversation on Kerala budget. Okay, so we've started to look at in the advent of the union budget coming in, maybe in a matter of days. We thought it would be interesting for us to start with the first budget which was presented this year, which is the state budget of Kerala. Moving on. I would thank Graceland and Jugal for their efforts to get this for us. So these are some of the terms. Quickly move on as we see them. Yes. So quickly have a look at the outlook. The budget highlights and estimates the reforms and initiatives and what they claim to be the way forward. Um so, given the fact that India's first positive case of COVID was reported in Kerala, the state government's movement, reaction, and key strategies have sort of made Kerala stable and a safer place at this point. And in a speech which lasted for over 3 hours, the finance minister, Mr. Thomas Isaac, unveiled the LDF government's agenda for the next 5 years if they were in power. So one of the bigger problems for Kerala is their unemployment rates, which is far higher than the national rates. And today's session, the highlights of Kerala government's vote on account for financial year 21-22 will be discussed. So, just to quote, the COVID response has shown the excellence of our health sector before the world, and we are creating a new addition to Kerala development model. Where we will transform the state into a knowledge-based society with strides in modern employment opportunities and industrial growth while consolidating our achievements in the social sector. So, one thing we need to understand, Kerala is always known to be a state for very high social systems and values, and it's the highly literate state as well in the country with near 100% literacy. So it's always expected that Kerala would be at the forefront of any of the social sector developments. So, from an economy standpoint, yes, it was more uh, agree dependent, at least from the outside world. That's where it looks like. But as we see, the bigger contributories to the Kerala state have been agriculture, which is only 9%, manufacturing is 28%, and services are 62%. Largely, I would believe, driven by the tourism and hospitality sector, which should have got seriously hit thanks to the current pandemic. Unemployment for 18-19 was at 9%, which is significantly higher than the countrywide average of 5.8%. The per capita gross state domestic product is about 2.45 lakhs, which is seen an 8% growth, but it is significantly again higher compared to the national average, which is roughly at about 1.5 lakhs. So it's one of the richest states in the country. And the growth in GDP has come down from 6.5 to 3.4%. Now, this will give you a perspective on how things have happened over the past 3 years. You would see in 1920, agriculture took a nosedive of almost 8%. Even the earlier year, it was minus 3.4. But services sector have been improving, significantly growing, I would say. But still, on the whole, the growth rates have been around 6.5%, and it's fallen down to about 3.4% last year. Budget highlights, if you have to look at it, the projected state domestic product is at 8.76 lakh crores for 21-22, which will be 7% higher compared to 2021. And there, it is expected to have a dip of 16% for the current fiscal year. Total expenditure is expected to be about 2.11 lakh crores, which is a 22% increase over the past year. I think this is more in sync with what our chief economic advisor was mentioning about the counter-cyclical fiscal policy, where if the private sector is not investing, the state has to spend. The total receipts, excluding borrowings, is estimated to be at 1.28 lakh crores, which is a 38% increase. And for the current year, the receipts are likely to fall by 19%, given the fact that the GSDP is likely to fall by 16%. Revenue deficit, yes, for 2021-22, its estimated budget estimate is at 16,900 crores. And for the next year, 59% increase from the budget estimate of 15,200 crores. So let's wait and watch how things pan out, because all these are estimates. But the fiscal deficit target for 2021-22 is at 3.5%, whereas for the current year it is expected to be at 4.25%, which, if it happens, actually it sticks to this number, it's great, because the country is looking at plus 6% fiscal deficit. Let's wait and watch. If you look at the budget estimates for 21-22, the total expenditure is 1.58 lakh crores actuals. The budgeted for total expenditure last year was 1.58, and budgeted for this year is 1.69, whereas it's moved up by 4,000 crores already. It's an upward of 2% change. And if you look at the total receipts, have come down by 19% compared to what it was supposed to happen, and the borrowings have gone up to make up for the bridge. And if you see, the revenue deficit is at 24,000 crores, which is up almost 59%. And fiscal deficit, as of now, is at 4.25% compared to on GSDP, and revenue deficit is at 3%, thereabouts of GSDP. And the primary deficit, which is fiscal deficit net of interest, is at 1.8% thereabouts, which is moved up from an estimate of from a budgeted of 1%. So obviously these numbers are bad given where we are. I think we should be happy for the state for what they've done so far. In 21-22, the outstanding debt is expected to be the state debt to GSDP at 37.4%, and which is higher than the estimate of 36.1. That was bound to happen. The outstanding debt is expected to increase from 29.8% in 2018-19. So it's been consistently going up, the state debt to GDP ratio. But I think that's been the scenario not only with this state, but so with all countries as well, globally. If you look at the expenditure estimates, CapEx 66,500 crores is the estimate for next year, which is again almost 20% higher. The capital outlay in 2020-21 is 27% lower than the budget estimate. So that's a concern, because we are not investing for the future. As far as revenue expenditure is concerned, it's at 1.45 lakh crores for 2021-22, and which is almost 24% higher. So you see, on one side, revenue expenditure significantly going up, and capital expenditure is significantly falling down. And on the other side, revenues are also coming down. So it's a triple-sided whammy for the government. And I think for this year, it's the same throughout the world. And of course, the budget, what we will see, it will be the same throughout the country as well. In 2021-22, 2020 and 21, the revenue expenditure is estimated to be 10% less than the budgeted estimate. Let's wait and watch what the real numbers are. CapEx is up 40% from 1920, where the capital outlay is down by 27%. The revenue expenditure is reduced by 10%, which is good, and the debt repayment has gone up significantly compared to what it was originally envisaged, and interest payments are thereabouts 20,000 crores. So the total debt servicing, if we were to look at, is about 65,000 crores for the state. And as far as sectoral education, I mean, expenditure is concerned, education tops with 1,650 crores. Same is the case with crop husbandry, and Manrega is another 4,000 crores. The capital outlay on infrastructure is about 1,650 crores. So the rest were all for various other projects. Kerala is estimated to spend about 85,000 crores on committed expenditure, and of which 66% of which is about 66% of its revenue expenditure, and that's 25% over and above the budget estimates. And this comprises salaries, which is 31% of revenue expenditure. Pension is 18%. These are we can keep talking, but these are our larger concerns of a big government. In 2021-22, payment towards salaries are estimated to increase by 42% over the revised estimates for the year. That's significant. That's really, really significant. So receipts in 2021-22, the total receipts are likely to be at 1.3 lakh crores to 8 lakh crores, of which nearly 70% would be raised by the state from its own sources. When we say own sources, it's likely to be from SGST, sales tax, and VAT on fuel and alcohol. And 31% is likely to come from the center. That's about 40,000 crores, of which close to about 13% would come from the state's share of GST and central taxes, and 18% will come from grants. So if we were to look at the breakup of the state government receipts, so if you look at it, total revenue receipts total revenue receipts were about 90,000 crores, 1920. States own taxes, 50,000 crores. Own non-taxes is 12,000 crores. Central taxes about 16,000, and grants was about 11,000 crores. So the remaining was filled because total expenditure is about 1.5 lakh crores. So the difference was filled through borrowings. So that's where the fiscal deficit starts to balloon over a period of time. The GST compensation requirement of Kerala for 2020-21 is 136% higher than the earlier year. And as per the revised estimate, the total GST compensation requirement is about 13,185 crores. Now, if we were to look at the receipts and payments account, which is it is a more detailed extract of what we saw. The state's own tax revenue has gone up from 50,000 in 1819 to 67,000 for 2020-21 as far as budget estimate is concerned. But thanks to COVID, it's come down to 45,000. Same is the case with non-tax revenue. It is about 20% lower than 1819 levels. Central government transfers, share of central taxes and grants and aid, again 30,027. It's been more or less around, but it's increased. So central government support during this phase has gone up by 20%. Capital receipts, which is typically recoveries of loans and borrowings. And if we were to look at capital receipts from 27,250, it's gone up to 35,000 crores. And the non-plan expenditure, and that's the other part, has gone up to from 98,000 to lakh and 4,000 crores. So overall, the expenditures have been increasing, the incomes have been coming down. I think that's more a pandemic syndrome. And if you have to look at the revenue deficit, has come down from 2.2% to 1.93%. The fiscal deficit is that's for the next year. For the current year, it's gone up to 2.94%. The fiscal deficit from 3.4 in 1819 has moved up to 4.25. And the primary deficit from 1.3 came down to 0.5. Now it's estimated to be about 1.8%. What are the tax reforms? Yes, Kerala flood cess is expected to be revoked by July 21. And the tax on LNG and CNG is likely to be reduced from 14.5% to 5%. Tax on newly registered vehicles to boost sale of vehicles likely to come down by 50% over the next 5 years. Stamp duty to be reduced from 8% to 4%. Registration fee reduced from 2% to 1% to promote sale of properties. And the total own tax revenue of Kerala is expected to be 73,000 crores in 21-22, which is an increase of 62% over the revised estimates of the previous year. In 2020-21, as per the revised estimates, state's own revenue is expected to be 33% lower than the budget estimates. Obviously, property transactions have also not happened. And if you have to look at the breakup of the state's revenue, you understand why alcohol and fuel is so important. It's almost 40%. Share of indirect taxes, SGST is about 40%, whereas vehicles and property transactions is another 14%. State excise and land revenue is another 5 plus 1.6%. So gives you an interesting cross section of what's relevant. Other policy highlights: the schemes will be initiated to provide jobs to at least 20 lakh professionals within 5 years, and at least 2 lakh people who took a break from professional jobs. So the skill mission will be formed to train an estimated 50 lakh youth. Eco-friendly construction of building, a 10% reduction in electricity tariff uh, for 5 years if 20% power savings is achieved, and 20% reduction in building tax, 50% in one-time building tax, 1% in stamp duty, a reduction in stamp duty during the transaction. And 2,000 crores will be given for aid in infrastructure development of universities, 1,000 crores on for affiliated colleges. And in colleges with 20,000 more or more students will be accommodated by a 10% increase in seats. So they are promoting larger institutions. Construction of 3 industrial corridors with an investment of about 50,000 crores will begin in 21-22. So if you were to look at this, will give you an interesting sector, friends. The overall state's average spend on education is about 15.8%. Kerala was supposed to be a much more progressive state. It's lower at 15%. Health is more or less in tune with national average at 5.6%. Agriculture is marginally lower. Probably you can say it's a fairly well developed space. Rural development, 44.4% vis-a-vis 6.1%. Police expenditure is far lower compared to the national average. Roads and bridges, 3.2% compared to 4.3% nationally. So, effectively, the concluding remarks as far as the ruling party is concerned, the state focus on development strategies grounded on creation of knowledge techniques based on them and the knowledge based employment. Good governance is identified by open and enlightened policy making, a bureaucracy imbued with professional ethos. The tax share of Kerala, that was 2.34%. During the 14th Finance Commission has come down to 1.94% during 2020-21, and the same is expected to be eased with 21-22 budget estimates. So these were some of these serious highlights of the Kerala state budget. Looking forward to catching up with you on the National Economic Survey series pretty soon. Thank you and have a great day.